I don't know, just a long day. I've been just a little distracted, too many balls in the air, I guess. Um, the great news is that we got some great responses to our job ad, our housing ad.
Oh, yay.
So we're starting to look at some potential new roommates, and there's some really cool people. So
Ooh, do tell.
yeah, we wrote kind of a cool ad. Um, let's see.
Yeah, read the ad. That sounds sounds so exciting.
My roommate made the password rhododendron, and I cannot spell that word to save my freaking life. I'm like, every time I start to do it, I have to go back and look at how do you spell rhododendron. I'm like, couldn't you just make it like fuck the police or something?
That is really interesting. You said she's from North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
There you go. But they have massive forests of rhododendron growing in the mountains of North Carolina.
RHODODENDRON. Okay.
That's great. I love it. You can tell her that I got her reference.
I will tell her that. Okay, well, Kate's already read my job ad, but I will read it to you because it's you and me. So it says Rad Group House seeks porch sitting comrade in Brightwood Park.
Ooh.
I'm reading my job ad for my roommate. Okay. Now I'm a little bit embarrassed.
No, do. I like
it says, want to help build a group house from scratch? Two folks looking for a third roommate to fill out our house and create a dreaming new home starting June 1st. There is flexibility, so read the whole ad to get the idea. The house. Sunny DC row house in Brightwood Park, hardwood floors and plenty of windows. 3 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, 1 tub. Main floor includes an open kitchen, dining room, living room, and sun porch with art and plant babies all around. Big front porch, large backyard deck, and small backyard. Shed for additional storage, washer and dryer, and storage in the basement. Bike lanes, bus lanes, and quick walk to Fort Totten Metro with decent street parking. Accessibility, this house is accessed by several stairs to any level of the structure. Available room, 1 bedroom is available upstairs, or we can offer the large, more semi-private basement with a private bathroom. Neither of these spaces has the most lovely light, but each has some good qualities, and we are open to seeing which space works for our new housemate. Either way, you will have access to house common areas, and we share space intentionally. Rent would range between $850 and $1,000 plus utilities. We prefer a long-term arrangement, but negotiable on specific time commitments. House culture. We are grown folks looking for someone who likes sharing a house with others. Yes, we are those weirdos who like living in group houses. We are involved in our communities outside the home, but enjoy hanging out together and occasionally sharing meals. We access a lot of fresh produce from one of our jobs. We're hoping to split expenses on shared household items. We are proactive cleaners and want our space to be calm, restful, and vibrant. Generally, we want to find a balance between living independent lives and coming home to a positive vibe with folks who trust and care about one another in our shared space. We love having friends over. In COVID conscious terms, we plan to maintain a space to host overnight visitors as the pandemic allows. We value getting to know our neighbors and want to be accountable for how we move through and participate in this neighborhood. We are abolitionists and want to live with someone who shares those values and dreams. This would probably not be a good living situation for someone just looking for a room to get by, who doesn't do their dishes, or from someone who loves capitalism or who thinks the police are here to protect us. We are open to pets. The landlord requires a deposit. Trans and queer affirming, 420 friendly, ACAB.
Wow, I want to live there.
And then about the housemates. So H is mid-30s, white queer cis woman from the South who has lived in DC for 10 years, busy about town, riding bikes, running around in the woods, dancing, learning how to grow food, and learning various caretaking and healing skills. When at home, she spends time cooking, making witchy concoctions, studying East Asian medicine, and is scheming various yard projects she would love help with.
She sounds good.
L is a straight, white, cis female, recent empty nester, a part of the queer community since the ACT UP era. After spending most of her career overseas, she works from home in international development. Elle recently moved to the district to focus her energies on supporting the abolitionist movement. Morning walker, environmentally conscious, amateur DJ, wearer of fluvogs, and amplifier of #womenartists.
Wow.
Please reply with a little information about why you'd want to live with us.
Do I have to write an essay? Wow.
And where
You
where's that?
sound exceptionally cool.
I know. I'm like, wait, is that me? And there's Astrid.
Hey!
She made it.
You made it.
I have arrived.
It doesn't look cluttered at all.
No, that's because I'm in a nice Airbnb.
I was going to say, when do we get to see the house?
Oh, that's tomorrow. I have the key. I went and retrieved the key. But
Oh my
tomorrow I'm gonna,
goodness.
still kind of wishing I had a GoPro camera on me, but no, I'm gonna do my iPhone cam.
You have to do the picture every day
Oh
of
my God, the time
the
lapse.
same space. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you pooped out?
No, actually not too bad. My flight, the flight from Portland to Atlanta was like a sardine can. We were packed in so tight. It was unreal. But then Atlanta to Frankfurt was super empty.
I saw your picture on
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah.
So I had a whole row that I could just, stretch out on and sleep. So
Oh,
I actually
nice.
got like 5
Nice.
hours or so of sleep.
That's amazing.
Totally, yeah. It was so empty. And then the train connection, everything was fine, and arrived here. Took a long nap, like a 3-hour nap this afternoon. So.
Mhm.
all
And
good.
what time is it there right now? Midnight or 1?
11. Mm-mm.
11. Oh, it's only 1 hour difference.
Looks
Yeah.
good.
So far, so good. Yeah, this is a little basement room she's letting me use as an office because my actual room is upstairs, but my hostess's bedroom is sort of on the same level, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna be up late?" I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, West Coast." So she goes, "Well, use the basement room."
It's nice you have that option.
Is she an English speaker as well?
I don't know because we speak German.
So your German is not as rusty as you were saying.
No, you will hear it actually come out. You'll hear it come out more and more over the next few weeks as the two parts of my brain do daily
Right.
battle.
Exactly.
Yes.
I know how that is. Yeah.
I was talking to Steve earlier, and at one point I just switched to German. He goes, "I don't understand." I'm like, "Oh, I can't tell, right? It's all the same in my head. It's all the same. Like my brain doesn't care if I'm speaking German or English. It's all the same
That's
to me."
weird. That's gotta be funny. You just kind of like switch from one to the other.
But you'll hear it. Like words will come out that are wrong, and then the sentence structure is going to change, and then the grammar.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, I want you to speak. I want you to be speaking English in German structure. That would be fun to hear.
It's
Ooh.
gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
So
think
what
that-
happened-
I was
what
going to say, if
happens-
you get somebody who's a German native speaker who speaks, rudimentary English, you would hear that, like the English and the German structure, right? That's often the mistake folks made. Yeah. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. Go ahead,
No,
Dana.
it's just funny because I mean, all these things like numbers, for example, like the way Germans say numbers is the wrong way around. Like 35 is 5 and 30.
Mm.
And it's just, oh my God, it just trips you. It just messes with your mind.
Wait, did you just say the Germans say it the wrong way? So you've
Yes.
perverted.
And then in a week or two, I will reverse my opinion on that statement.
That's
And the
so
whole-
interesting, though. That's old. I mean, that is a very antiquated way of, you hear that in period pieces. I love it.
Yeah,
So you're jumping in tomorrow, both feet, going for it?
that's it. Yep.
Mhm.
A whole bunch of goodies.
No
arrived
time like the
so far.
present, huh? Like,
Time
why
like the
mess
present.
around?
Yeah. yeah, a bunch of boxes arrived from Amazon with my cleaning supplies. I'm going in.
How are you gonna
Okay.
structure work and cleaning?
Clean in the morning, take a break, have lunch, work in the afternoon and evening.
Because it'll be the
I'm gonna have such an exciting life the next 3 weeks. I just don't know what to do with myself.
Those are going to be long days.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Is there anything that you want to do or see while you're there that's not part of your plan?
You know, I was talking to my hostess about this. There is a lake nearby that I swam in as a kid, and there's a chance that it could get warm enough, like this weekend, for example. So I'm definitely going to go there and jump in. If I do nothing else, I will do that.
That's
Mhm.
great.
But everything is closed. Like museums are closed.
Right.
I don't have a ton of friends left. I have maybe one friend that I could
Mhm.
make a point of seeing, but then I would have to do that at night when I'm supposed to be working because, you know,
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And can you get out to the lake by train or do you have to get a car?
it's walkable.
Oh,
Walkable from here. Yeah. So what's really nice about this part of Cologne is, and Cologne in general has a lot of green space, and the green space is all linked up, so you can walk entirely on green space and multi-use pathways for miles, and never really. And then there are like little trails that branch off into like this subdivision and that neighborhood, and
Is that also for bikes, Astrid? Or
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah,
Wow,
I might borrow a bike and do that.
that
How
sounds
big is-
beautiful.
How big is Cologne?
I
Roughly.
don't know what the current numbers are, but it's a million plus ish.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very Portland-like. It's like if you, in fact, I've frequently thought like being on the river in Portland reminds me of Cologne. It's got lots of different bridges. It's got really nice sort of open space and sort of
Okay.
like along the river where people like to recreate. That's fun.
Cool.
And
Hey, so
got to take some photos of my host's art. She's a paper artist. So far I've taken one peek into her workshop and I want to buy everything and bring it home.
Oh,
I'm like, how do you
nice.
transport a bunch of paper art.
Oh.
I don't even know.
Now
So
you
it's
got Dana's
I'll be-
attention. She's like, what's
Yeah.
it's
that?
unbelievable. I will do a walkthrough of just some of the things that she has exhibited in her just the living space, and it's just stunning.
What's behind you on the wall?
You know, I think those are just drawings. There's
Those
actually
aren't hers?
none of her. I think there's some wall-like things in the bookcase, but that's it.
And what does paper art mean? I guess.
Think about metal structures, like big structures, but made out of paper.
Oh wow.
And they don't serve like any obvious utilitarian purpose. Like they're not all lamps. Like you know, like you've seen paper lamps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
But no, they're structural, or some of the things she has hanging on her wall that incorporate the sort of mixed media, I guess you would call that. Looking
Okay.
at the artist in the mix. Yeah, she's got some.
Yeah,
really
mixed media is
beautiful-
a nice catch-all term for.
yeah, it is.
But she makes her own paper, so I'm dying to go to her workshop. She's got
Oh,
a whole.
So she
extension
puts
of her
stuff on
home.
molds and things like that.
Oh no, she's got this huge workspace from what I can tell. There's like
Yeah.
a little window into it. You can sort of see down. There's like a bunch of like those big. What is all those like big metal pans that you
Yep,
need to make
yep.
it
So you
table?
have like the screens, and then often my mom did a lot of work with paper. So, you know, you have molds that, I mean, she
Yeah.
could make, you know, large sculptures where you
Yeah.
make the molds as you would, you know, for any kind of casting, but you would cast them in paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a
Huh.
great thing to do. I mean, it's a really fun way to entertain small children.
Mhm.
Because it can be really simple and it's messy if you want it to be.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
yeah. I
Put
can't
some
wait to see what,
newspapers in a blender and then put it back together.
yeah,
basically.
basically.
I don't know.
I
My
just
paper art
think-
never.
I'm just thinking paper mache is the only
Yeah,
thing
I was just gonna say, Don. That's about as far as my paper art extended. Paper mache covered like balloons, right? Like one.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yes, that
Right?
was fun. Cool. I like
Mhm.
doing that.
Yeah. That was messy. But
Yeah,
that
it was. The sooner the better.
Well, that's
Sounds
kind of
good
cool. Did
then.
you know that coming into the Airbnb that she was an artist, or did you discover that when
No, I
arriving?
did. I could tell from the way she was describing. No, at some point. Oh, because Oh, that's right. No, I figured it out when we had to communicate off platform because she was, we were trying to figure out if I needed some sort of special dispensation from the health authority to stay in an Airbnb because all the hotels are still closed. And to be able to email, Airbnb is strange. They actively prevent you from sharing your email address or phone
Yeah.
number.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And so she said, oh, she basically described to me her business website so that I could find her business email. And then that's when I realized she's a real artist.
Yeah, Airbnb wants to have their fingers in every single part of your trip.
Well, it's also a security measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They that middle platform, that middle meeting room or whatever.
Yeah.
They want to be able to document every interaction in case things go south, right?
Right.
It helped us once.
Yeah, it wasn't through Airbnb. We used a turnkey or lock key. I mean, this is going back like maybe 6-7 years. We used a similar first time that we'd ever used anything. So we didn't really realize the difference, but we had signed up for this room that was supposed to be a house that was supposed to be near the ocean. And when we, paid the money and then they give us the exact address, it wasn't even near walking distance. And so, I mean, it was completely misleading.
Yeah.
And so because of the documentation of the communication, we were able to get all the money back.
Because the woman who was renting it would not respond to us.
Because we're like, this isn't where it indicated on your,
There's not
description.
there's not as many rooms. It was just all of it was wrong. And so they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're taking, and it's like, they gave us the money back and said, we'll pull her off.
Yeah.
So, like,
Wow, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
What
that's why.
end up staying?
Yeah, I've never had reason to use the platform mechanisms for getting any kind of dispute resolved.
yeah, I mean, that's the only time we used VVR and Airbnb before.
Yeah, ever since we haven't, but I think it was just one of those unlucky connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yours is going to work out, it sounds like. Where you're
Hope so.
staying. Yeah.
So far, so good.
Maybe learn how to do paper.
Yeah, in all my spare time.
Exactly.
Actually, all the pulp that you're pulling out of your mom's place, she'd probably be like, I'll take that.
No. If you saw her paper, I was like, I don't think in fact, there isn't a speck of dust out of place.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right.
Somebody who makes their own paper from, like you, Dana, right? Like sort of like she's one of the people who would supply you with the things that you use, right? Like she's that level of craftsman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think a dusty newspaper will ever.
Do you
break
make your
it.
own paper as well, Dana, for your pieces, or?
I haven't worked in paper in a number of years.
Mhm.
The last time I made paper was maybe 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm all fabric all the time now.
Right. Right.
As a matter of fact, I am trying to find some silk, like really super fine silk and super fine linen, and I'm having some trouble. If anybody knows like anything around Portland where any really specialty fabric stores, like I could use some information.
You think that we would know something you don't know, Dana?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Oh,
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. It's interesting that you wouldn't be able to find what you need in Portland. I guess that's what I'm thinking, like that is that difficult to find what you want with all the artists that I would think that would be here using that.
I think, I don't know, I guess what I want is I want some silk that is undyed, not raw silk. I mean, I would take raw silk, but it's not, that's too opaque. I want something that it's gauzy and, but obviously I want to be able to change the color of it. So I need something, because you can't bleach silk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of the fun part, because this is the part where you have to go digging around for supplies. And like you said, Astrid, if someone makes something that you can use, I did order, remember the Ukrainian hemp guy that I ordered some fabric from? Well, I found this other weaver in Spain who I ordered some linen from, and so I don't know when that's gonna get here. But yeah, just fishing around.
Wow. Well, do any of those people know
Yes.
somebody who makes silk?
No, I mean, I was just looking like in the hemp realm. But I guess I probably should.
Oh, you know what? I may have somebody who might be helpful to you. Shoot, what's her?
See, Laurel?
Yeah, there we go. I shouldn't.
That's what I was thinking. I know someone who knows some fabric. I
Uh,
can check. But a lot of wool.
Oh, damn it. God, why can I never remember her last name?
So what did the other
Um,
thing you said, Dana, was silk, and you said linen?
Really fine linen. Linen's pretty easy, but I want to get some. I want something that is really lightly woven, not like fabric grade, like clothes grade linen. I want something that's more sheer.
I'm putting in the chat the link to a friend of mine business, Julia Brennan. She does textile conservation.
Ooh.
I bet she would know where to find what you're looking for, because when she works with, oh, you know, the holy scriptures of the kingdom of Bhutan at the invitation of the king,
Yeah.
she is pretty thorough about where she sources her materials.
Mm,
Oh, cool. I am gonna have to. I'm gonna look at her website more.
Yeah, do. If you want an introduction, I'd be happy to make it. She's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah, that's about the only person I can think of when it comes even to, because she's told me about this problem. Like when because her whole thing about it's not restoration, it's conservation, right? And so she's forever looking for, like, she's restored Civil War uniforms and what have you, and she's worked on a flag that Washington waved around back in the Revolutionary War and whatnot. Like she gets brought in by the Smithsonian all the time, and so she's got this whole thing where she's looking for like matching the weave and matching the fabric from the same time, and it's not about making it all look not shiny and new again. It's all about making it hold up for the next 300 years.
Yeah, and that's interesting. You should say that too, because I just bought this book. This
Wow.
lady, so Elizabeth Wayland Barber she is kind of a textile historian, and we're talking like Bronze Age, Iron Age textiles, things really, really old shit. And so I wanted to read about the origins of weaving and creating textiles. So it's kind of all coming together now. Yeah, you know what I was thinking when you were talking about your friend and conservation, there's got to be somebody around Portland that grows silk, like, I mean, silkworms. There has to be somebody that's got,
Yeah.
right? I mean, doesn't Portland seem like a place where you could have
If the
silkworms?
climate, if you have the right climate, I don't know what kind
I
of
don't know
climate.
either. So, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
you're right. She would probably know where to find what I'm looking for.
Be my guess.
What a really cool job. I wonder where she went to school to get training for that.
Oh, she
That's
told
probably on
me.
her website.
Yeah, it's eclectic.
There's an archivist in our studio building who I run into at the sink every now and then, and he does works on paper. And he's
Yeah.
come to the sink with these giant tubs of this weird looking slurry water that makes me wonder what he's doing in his studio.
There's also the wife of my former music teacher in Canada, Cheryl Samuel. She's a weaver, and she reconstructed the art of these incredible these woven textiles that the Haida are famous for. She reconstructed that. The art form had died out because of assimilation. I don't know if you know anything about the colonial history of Canada, but it was brutal. And so they had lost the art, and she reconstructed it and then documented it, wrote a famous book about it.
Wow.
And now I think they've adopted her into a clan, which never happens. It's like white people do
Wow.
not get adopted into.
Wow.
Well, that's a
Uh,
very significant thing to do.
But she
Should get
also
it.
has some really interesting techniques, like in terms of how, like she's done things with cedar bark, and she's done like all these traditional materials that she, basically resurrected in how they're used from
Did
having
you say
looked at art.
no?
Yeah, is it maybe the Raven's Tail? I don't know. No, oh, she
You know,
has
I found out that our new, we have a new Native American curator this past year that really we haven't had a chance to get to know, but I was really excited to hear about the repatriation work that the Portland Art Museum is doing
Mhm.
with Canadian tribes. I had no idea that that was ongoing. And I had no idea how much paperwork is involved. I mean, it seems
yeah.
like after you figure out where it's supposed to go, who it belongs to and who you give it to, it seems like you would just give it to them.
Mm.
But there's a whole lot of stuff that you have to do. And there was one piece that I think they've been working on for 10 years. That seems ridiculous.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
and
yeah.
they're not being exhibited while they're in storage right now
Mm.
because of that.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
is-
there was a totem pole that was repatriated to British Columbia from Sweden, that my old organization EcoTrust had something to do with, and that took a long time. And part of the challenge is that these are religious artifacts, right? And they've been desecrated.
Right.
And so there's a whole process of basically, what is it when you make them holy again? Resecration? I don't know. whatever that is. So
Mhm.
then
That-
they have to go through a whole purification process. It basically, this totem pole lay in state at the UBC Anthropology Museum for several years before the First Nation, before the time was right to bring it back to the forest it originated from.
Holy shit. So it's
like-
actually a reservation at a tribal center.
No, it's actually back, and it's in the Kitlope. It's I think it's in the Kitlope. One of them was brought back to the Kitlope. Yeah, it's not at all made easy for anyone to visit. It is back in its original place, which is not a public, oh, everybody ogle it and charge admission for it place.
Yeah, it's back where it needs to
Wild.
be.
Yeah.
That's a great museum, by the way, that Anthropology Museum at the University of British Columbia. It's one of the best museums I've ever seen for what's in it.
Yeah. Putting
That's a
shells
fun
in.
trip. Road trip to Vancouver.
Yes. Oh my God, let's do that.
We
This
should
is
all
like
get
a
on-
whole different conversation, but did we talk about the Congolese guy who goes into French museums and takes
No.
artifacts that he wants to repatriate? He was,
What?
we didn't talk about that?
Maybe I missed that, but that sounds, so
Yeah.
he goes in and he photographs works that
Oh, no,
are-
he just goes in and takes it
Take
it out of the museum, because France actually passed a law that, or, passed some legislation that it would start to repatriate artifacts in its museums that had been taken during colonial times. And so, and of course, then it's, probably for some good reasons, Dana, like you're saying, it just takes years to like figure out the provenance and who do I hand it
Mhm.
back to and so on. And so there's this activist who just goes into museums with a bunch of people and takes stuff and starts walking out, and as a demonstration, not to steal it so much, but to get the media coverage and so on. And so
Well,
one of the podcasts I listened to did a great interview and profile of him, and he just keeps pulling the stunt over and over again in France. And then he goes, the point is to get his stuff into the courts so that he can actually, basically say the state is not living up to its what it said it's done. And I think in this podcast, it also said that he was starting to target some museums in the United States that had made similar, commitments, recognizing that they had artifacts and art that needed to be repatriated. But anyway,
Mhm.
I'll look that up. That's like a whole nother funny.
that's amazing. I've never heard of anybody doing that before.
Yeah, I think it's in the last maybe 2 years he's been
So
doing
here-
this.
So I'm sharing with you the story of this totem pole.
Mhm.
I can tell you a little inside story about it that not many people know.
Okay.
Yes. do.
So they bring it back, right? And the picture that you see, I think, is maybe the picture, maybe in the Heisler village. No, so they brought it back, right? So it gets repatriated, and you can read all about it in this article. It gets repatriated.
Oh, and the head's on backwards. Is that it?
No, maybe.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But the real story is that they brought it back to is it Heisler territory? And the Heisler, I mean, there is sort of a village center, and I think they told everybody that that's where they would put it back, but then they actually put up a copy, I believe, in the village. And the real totem pole that came back from Sweden is in a very special holy place in the Kittlop, in the rainforest itself, that you can only
Wow.
get to. It's like 2 days upriver, and that's why I'm saying it's not easily visited. But I think they told the Swedes, "Oh yeah, no, we'll put it back where you found it," which was like, no, that's actually not what's happening. What's happening is we put it back in the place that's meaningful to us.
Wow.
Well, it's a good idea to make the copy and it can still be a tourist thing and,
Yeah, although up there it's pretty
remote.
remote. Not many tourists up there.
That's an amazing story.
Mhm.
I need to read all of that.
You need to read all of them. Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay. Well, shall we move on to UFOs?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Really? Sweet, that's today?
For you,
So,
Dana.
Astrid, we had a conversation about UFOs the other
Of course you
day,
did.
which I don't know if we need to redo the whole conversation,
No,
maybe for
probably
another
not.
time, but Dana and I begged Chris to write a UFO
Brilliant.
meditation. So that's what we've got.
Those are the best.
Yes, Dana was
Hey.
chomping at the bit yesterday, but we just redid the spring one because it was on Mary
good.
and Dana. So
Oh, so she's heard about it. Okay.
Chris,
she-
did you get to watch the YouTube Lex Friedman, David Fravor interview?
No, I've not watched it yet. I'll have
It's
to-
pretty interesting. I mean, he talks about, among other things, among UFO sightings in Super Hornets, he talks about aircraft and aerodynamics, and he's just and what it's like to land a Super Hornet on a freaking carrier out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, thanks.
Hang with us, Astrid. I see you're starting just a little